Hello, folks, and welcome into the weekly Stop Drinking Expert podcast. My name is Craig Beck, the author of Alcohol Lied to Me and the creator of the Stop Drinking Expert coaching program that has helped hundreds of thousands of people to escape the loop of problem drinking over the last 13 years. So if you're worried about your drinking, you know what to do. Go to the website, stopdrinkingexpert.com, and sign up for today's free quit drinking webinar, where I will give you a copy of my best-selling book, absolutely free, just for turning up. So, what is your family dynamic around alcohol? Have you got yourself into a relationship where you are problem drinking with your partner? This is very common. Often, you will find that people who get into a loop with their drinking, let's not go as far as to say full-blown alcoholics, but problem drinkers certainly, tend to enable each other. The one thing that problem drinkers love more than anything else to facilitate their habit is social proof, is the illusion of there being safety in numbers. That is the most valuable thing to all problem drinkers, because I think it's built into us at a genetic level. Intrinsically, we know that drinking this stuff on a daily basis is devastatingly bad for us. We know it's going to give us cancer. We know it's going to end our lives early. We know it's going to destroy our family, our finances. We know all this, but rather than deal with the problem, we just try and cover it up in as many layers of bullshit as we can. And social proof is fantastic for that. Because if you can look around a room and see other people that you respect, other people that you consider to be intelligent and wise, also choosing to drink diluted poison on a regular basis, then you can say to yourself, well, it can't be that bad, can you? Because look, there's David. He's a surgeon. He's drinking. Look over there. There's Tim. He's an accountant. Look over there. There's Linda. She's a lawyer. All these super intelligent people drinking poison. Therefore, it must be okay. We love that as problem drinkers. And when you get into a relationship and you both become problem drinkers together, you kind of validate the routine. One of you will say, should we have a nice bottle of wine tonight? Should I go out and get you a nice bottle of wine? And you both start validating the behavior and you start bouncing off each other. That's what happened with me. You know, I didn't really drink that much, just the occasional social drink until I met my ex-wife. And then instead of going out and being sociable, instead of going out and being with friends, we found ourselves staying in every night, watching a movie with a bottle of wine. Then it became 2 bottles of wine. Then it became 3, and so on and so on. So it's very common for people to become problem drinkers in couples. The problem here is that generally one of the couple wakes up and says, whoa, what am I doing? I've got to stop this. Then you're in a very tricky situation because you get a bit of pushback from your partner because you're taking away their social proof. You're stealing their safety in numbers defense. And they don't like that. And they will try very hard to get you back in the process. Not because they don't love you, but because they're feeling psychological pain and they want it to stop. All right. But then, who sent me this? I was sent a link today by Earl. Thank you for sending this, Earl. This is just absolute insanity. I want to show you a newspaper article from the United Kingdom. And just it's incredible. Are you ready for this? Here it is. It's from the Sun newspaper, which is a terrible newspaper, a really bad reputation, awful, trashy journalism. But this is a genuine story from the Sun, a daily red top newspaper in the United Kingdom. Cheers to that is the headline. How boozing with your partner can boost your relationship and even help you live longer. I mean, where do you start with this? It's the whole headline and subheadline is such utter nonsense. It's such gibberish that there is no logical place to start. let's have a look at the story in a bit more detail and see if they can defend the indefensible here. Couples who drink together live longer, a study has found. I'm guessing there's no link to this study because there generally isn't. Sharing the occasional tipple is not only good for a relationship, but also a boost for health, researchers say. Spurious, what researchers? They followed the drinking habits of more than 9,000 couples over 50 between 1996 and 2016. It found teetotal couples were 24% more likely to have died in the course of the study than those who enjoyed a drink. The death rate was up to a third higher among those who were where only one partner drank. But the death rate was also raised if both partners drank too much. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Dr. Curda Burdett from the University of Michigan said spouses with similar drinking behaviors often report better quality marriages and are married longer. These findings indicate that couples in which both drank in the last 3 months had better survival rates. The worst survival rate was among couples in which one partner drank and the other did not. Light drinking has been previously credited with good health as it can cut stress. I genuinely don't know where to start. But I'll give it a go. All right, look. First off, what is obvious here is it's the same data error that conveniently keeps being made by these surveys, right? You know, all data can be spun, can be skewed to say any story you want. This is what politicians do all the time. They take the data and they go, okay, how can we remove all the negatives and twist it so we can find a little bit of good news from it? You know, and I used to do this when I ran radio stations in the United Kingdom. Every 3 months, we would get the listening figures. And sometimes you would have great listening figures and you could just genuinely boast about it. Sometimes you would have bad figures, but you'd have to find a way to celebrate it. So if your listening figures had gone down, you'd find a demographic where they'd gone up. So you'd look into the little tiny details and you'd say, okay, well, with 25 to 30-year-old females, we've gone up 10%. And so the headline would be not, we've lost huge amounts of audience. It would be, our core listeners are listening longer than ever before. We're celebrating. Thank you for making us number one. Bullshit. Absolute garbage. But this is what is done with data all the time. Now, the problem with these health surveys that state that teetotalers die sooner than people who drink is it's using bad data in a very dishonest way. So in this article here, where does it say? Where's the teetotal comment? See if I can find it again. Here we go. It found teetotal couples were 24% more likely to have died in the course of the study than those who both enjoyed a drink. Now, the reason the data is skewed here is it never asks why they're teetotal. And what you get there is you get a lot of people who state they do not drink alcohol because they have already done so much damage to their body that they have been told by a doctor, you either stop drinking now or you're dead in a month. You get all the people who have liver cirrhosis in this demographic. But if you ask them straight, do you drink alcohol? They will say no, because they no longer can. And if you've got liver cirrhosis, you've got about 6 months to live. So you've got all these people who are very, very poorly, close to the end of life, skewing the data. But articles like this don't mention that. Why? Because you got to give the people what they want. And because the vast majority of people drink alcohol and want more social proof and want more evidence of safety in numbers, they don't want to hear stories about alcohol and death. They want to hear validation about why they can continue to drink alcohol. So this stat here, that teetotalers die 24% more than people who drink alcohol, may be true, but they're not telling you the full story. There is bad data in here used dishonestly. That is the first thing. Now, let's scroll on a little bit here. Here we go. Marriages lasted longer. And I can totally believe that. If you are two problem drinkers who are married, I believe your marriage is going to be dramatically more likely to last longer than someone who is married to a problem drinker who is sober, newly sober, or doesn't like alcohol. And here's the reason why. And again, I've been in this situation. I was married for like 14 years, something like that. In all honesty, it was probably 7 years too long. The quality of my relationship was very poor. We didn't really have a relationship. We were just two people that lived in the house. We didn't even sleep in the same bed for the last 3 years of the marriage. We had separate bedrooms because there was no point sleeping in the same bed. We'd both stumble into bed about the same, different times. And bed was for sleeping off the alcohol, and that's pretty much it. It was a poor quality relationship, a poor quality marriage. But I didn't have the clarity, the financial ability, or the guts to end the relationship until I got alcohol out of my life. And I'll go as far as to say, if I'd continued drinking, that marriage, that relationship that I was in would have continued. Because rather than deal with my problems, I was choosing to drink an anesthetic every night. So they went away briefly. So instead of sitting there contemplating what was going wrong with my life and working on personal development and growing myself as a person and having higher standards for myself, every night I was coming home from work, drinking anesthetic and making my problems go away. But of course, they weren't going away. I was still in a poor quality relationship, financially bankrupt, in a career that was going nowhere, with health dramatically going down the toilet. So I entirely believe that problem drinkers will stay married longer than someone who's living with a problem drinker. Because if you've got the clarity that comes with sobriety, you're going to look at the behavior and routines of a problem drinker and say, this is not good enough. I deserve better than this. I do not want to live with someone with standards this low. I'm worth more. And again, I've been in this situation as well. When my marriage ended and I had a couple of relationships, I fell in love with a woman who was super intelligent, real high achiever, top of the company ladder, very high earner, incredible intelligence. And that's what I found beautiful about her. But she drank. And a couple of times a week, she would come home from work and turn herself into the stupidest zombie I've ever seen. It was so unattractive. And it was a real problem for me to sit there and watch this beautiful, intelligent woman deliberately turn herself into a slurring, gibbering idiot that had to drag herself up the stairs to bed. It was depressing. It was awful. And I saw no long-term future in that relationship because I thought, I can't be with someone I love and watch them do that to themselves. So I ended the relationship. So this article here will be loved. Sorry, I need to put it on the screen, don't I? This article here will be loved by problem drinkers, the UK wide, because it validates their behavior. It gives them yet another reason to carry on drinking. They will be able to honestly say to themselves, red wine is good for your heart. I've got that going for me. And my relationship is better because we both drink poison every night together in front of the TV. Aren't we lucky? No, you're not. This article is full of nonsense. It is predominantly based on lies. It is skewed horrendously. It's dishonest, and it serves no useful purpose. Thank you very much to Earl for sending it to me. It's hilarious, but slightly depressing that a lot of people will believe this article to be the truth because, hey, it's in the newspaper. This is the world we live in. All right. Thanks for being with me in today's podcast. Remember, if you're worried about your drinking, go to the website right now, stopdrinkingexpert.com, and sign up for today's free quit drinking webinar. I will give you a copy of Alcohol Lied to Me as a free download at the end of the webinar. Thanks for watching. See you very soon.